Bonjour, bienvenue en salle de presse pour notre rendez-vous quotidien en direct sur EBS. Nous sommes aujourd'hui le mardi 4 août. Comme vous le savez, nous opérons selon notre régime pour le mois d'août, à savoir 2 rendez-vous par semaine ici en salle de presse, aujourd'hui et vendredi. Mais bien entendu, nous ne fermons pas boutique pour autant et nous restons à votre disposition chaque jour par email, par téléphone pour vos questions ou pour des interviews en ligne. Avant de vous passer la parole, j'ai une courte annonce à vous faire. La Commission entame la révision de la directive sur les énergies renouvelables et la directive sur l'efficacité énergétique. Vous êtes dès aujourd'hui invités à commenter les feuilles de route sur la révision de ces 2 directives qui viennent d'être publiées sur notre page « Donnez votre avis ». Dans le cadre du Pacte vert pour l'Europe, cette révision nous aidera à adapter nos politiques sur les énergies renouvelables et l'efficacité énergétique afin qu'elles contribuent plus efficacement à nos ambitions climatiques et environnementales. Notez qu'en parallèle, une analyse d'impact est actuellement en cours sur le plan cible en matière de climat à l'horizon 2030. Ces feuilles de route sont ouvertes aux commentaires du public jusqu'au 21 septembre et comme d'habitude, vous trouverez plus d'informations sur notre Daily News. Voilà qui clôt mes courtes annonces pour aujourd'hui. Je vous passe la parole pour vos questions. Et nous commençons avec Christian.
Oui, bonjour. En fait, ma question est très simple. Je voudrais savoir si vous êtes préoccupé par ce que les experts belges annoncent, c'est-à-dire une deuxième vague de la pandémie dans le Royaume, qui, s'il appliquait ces critères de sélection, devrait être zone rouge, c'est-à-dire en fait zone interdite pour tout séjour et tout déplacement. Alors, je sais que vous ne commentez pas les décisions qui sont souveraines des États membres. Moi, ce qui m'intéresse, c'est qu'on prépare la rentrée. Dans quelques semaines, c'est septembre. C'est vrai, c'est triste. Et je voudrais savoir si vous êtes en concertation avec les autres institutions pour savoir comment vous allez gérer cette reprise. Quel mode de communication? Est-ce que vous allez reprendre la reprise est-ce que vous allez rouvrir la salle de presse? Est-ce que vous allez continuer en mode conférence de presse un peu virtuelle, c'est-à-dire via les réseaux comme aujourd'hui? J'ai vu que le Conseil et la présidence allemande viennent d'annoncer que pour la première réunion des ministres des Affaires étrangères, qui est une réunion informelle à Berlin, il y aura un quota. Donc, c'est-à-dire c'est sans précédent. On informe les médias qu'un seul représentant par média pourra assister à ce genre de réunion, ce qui veut dire qu'on n'est pas rentré dans le rythme de la normalisation. Donc, est-ce que vous pouvez nous faire un petit point sur comment vous sentez cette situation et cette reprise? Merci.
Donc tu parles bien là uniquement du fonctionnement des institutions, si j'ai bien compris ta question, et en particulier de la Commission européenne. Alors la Commission a de tête un plan pour la réouverture progressive des bureaux et des bâtiments de la Commission européenne, qui dépend bien entendu de l'évolution de la situation sanitaire dans les différents sites et dans les différents pays où nous sommes installés, puisque, pour rappel, nous sommes installés bien entendu à Bruxelles, mais aussi ailleurs en Europe, et notamment au Luxembourg, à Ispra en Italie, et nous avons des centres de recherche à différents endroits. Et bien entendu, la réouverture des bâtiments, ou plutôt l'augmentation du nombre de personnes qui peuvent venir travailler, est planifiée en fonction de l'évolution de la situation sanitaire. En ce qui concerne la salle de presse, plus précisément, nous sommes en contact avec l'API sur ce sujet. Nous envisageons une réouverture progressive dans des conditions sanitaires, bien entendu, contrôlées, à partir du moment où il commencera à y avoir une augmentation du nombre de personnes qui reviennent travailler au Berlaymont. Pour être très pragmatique, nous avons visé pour le moment, sur base des informations qui étaient disponibles ces dernières semaines, une réouverture de la salle de presse, une réouverture partielle, à partir de à peu près la mi-septembre, mais qui reste à confirmer. Et nous sommes en train de travailler sur les protocoles qui permettraient l'accès à la salle de presse dans de bonnes conditions sanitaires, d'hygiène, tant pour les journalistes que pour mes collègues du service du porte-parole et les autres personnes qui pourraient être amenées à venir ici en salle de presse. Mais c'est vrai que tout ceci dépend largement de la manière dont la situation va évoluer et la décision définitive sur une réouverture ne pourra être prise que d'une manière plus rapprochée à la date envisagée en fonction des chiffres qui seront disponibles à ce moment-là. La deuxième chose que je voudrais dire, c'est que quoi qu'il en soit, nous envisageons de continuer à opérer avec un système virtuel en parallèle à la réouverture de la salle de presse, ce qui permettra à chacun d'entre vous de décider si une présence en salle de presse vous convient ou si vous préférez continuer à interagir avec nous sur base de notre système virtuel. Voilà ce que je peux dire pour le moment. En ce qui concerne la coordination avec les autres institutions, notre salle de presse fonctionne d'une manière complètement différente, comme tu le sais, du service presse des autres institutions. Et donc, il n'y a pas vraiment de coordination réellement qui soit possible entre la Commission, le Parlement et le Conseil. La seule chose que je pourrais peut-être préciser, puisque cela semble t'intéresser, l'accès à la salle de presse sera forcément limité en termes de nombre de personnes pouvant participer, ce qui ne devrait pas poser un problème pour nos middays habituels, mais pourrait éventuellement en poser un lors des conférences de presse, puisqu'on devrait avoir une centaine de places disponibles et il peut facilement y avoir plus de 100 journalistes intéressés à participer. Et donc effectivement, une des questions qui se pose, c'est comment s'assurer qu'il y ait un accès juste à la salle de presse et que les médias qui disposent de beaucoup de journalistes ne trustent pas l'ensemble des places disponibles. Mais c'est quelque chose sur lequel nous sommes encore en train de réfléchir et en discussion avec nos partenaires. Voilà, je passe maintenant la parole à Patricia.
Bonjour, thank you for the floor. I have a couple of questions. The first one is, are you preparing a list of safe countries? I'm talking about migration. Obviously, we're having a crisis in the south of Italy, and I know that Minister Di Maio yesterday spoke to High Rep Borrell. So I would like to understand whether their objective of their conversation was on the third a list of safe countries, and what is the state of art on this list? Will it be included in the package on asylum and migration that will be presented on September? And how can the Commission help Italy with all these arrivals from Tunis? Thank you.
So I think you're asking a number of quite different questions. The first relates to the meeting between the High Representative Borrell and Italian Minister Di Maio. I do not think that we have a readout that we can provide you at this stage. Peter confirms that this is the case, so we cannot tell you here what was the content of the discussion, but Peter will come back to you bilaterally on this. On the issue of a list of safe countries, I will pass the floor to Adalbert, and on the link to the migration proposals that will come in September.
Hello, Patricia, and thank you very much for these questions. So, about lists of safe countries, this is indeed a procedural device that is available in the context of the Asylum Procedures Directive, which is currently in force, as well as there have been proposals on the developments of on safe country lists in the Asylum Procedures Regulation that was made by the previous Commission, and it is indeed something that will be considered by the Commission as part of the new Pact on Migration and Asylum. However, as you are certainly aware, I'm not able to comment at this stage about the contents of the new Pact. Regarding specifically the issue of Tunisia, I may perhaps be able to refer to the meeting that was convened by Minister Lamorgese on the 13th of July, in which Commissioner Johansson as well as Commissioner Varhey participated, and this meeting included a number of member states as well as the ministers of interior of a number of North African partners, and it specifically focused on the issue of anti-smuggling. Commissioner Johansson was here in the press room on that day to describe the outcome of this meeting, and it kicked off a process through which those ministers will hopefully be able to cooperate in order to address the issue of smuggling as well as discuss the issue of migration management more broadly. You also asked about possible support to Italy, and I think I've had the opportunity to answer a similar question recently. Of course, the Commission is very much aware of the current challenges, particularly on the island of Lampedusa, but not only, and we are already providing very significant financial and operational support to Italy in managing migration. That includes a support of over 1 billion euros since 2015, as well as almost 300 officers from European agencies that are present in Italy. And as ever, we are ready to consider any additional requests for support from Italy. If you have further more detailed questions on that, of course, very happy to reply to those as well.
Thank you, Adalbert. Do we have other questions for Adalbert on issues related to migration, asylum? Follow-up, Patricia?
Yes, please. I have a follow-up. I wasn't clear enough, but my question about the help that the Commission can give to Italy on migration at this point is also on returns, and also, so I would like to understand what can be done at this point on the theme of returns, especially to Tunis. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. I would need to look more specifically, especially with Frontex, as to the specific possibilities. As you know, Frontex has support for returns to member states in its mandate. It's a very important priority, especially in the development of the agency's operational capabilities. And I'm sure something would be available, but I would need to check exactly with the agency what the possibilities are there.
Okay, Carlo, is your question for Adalbert? Carlo, you have... It seems your microphone is not on the right source. Ah, yes, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yes, no, it's not.
So we'll come back to you. Christian, de nouveau.
Oui, juste une petite question de suivi pour Adalbert. Si j'ai bien compris, pour l'instant, l'Italie n'a fait aucune demande d'aide.
Je n'ai pas d'informations précises sur de récents échanges avec l'Italie. Il faudrait que je vérifie exactement avec les services. Comme tu le sais, la Commission reste en contact permanent avec les États membres. Donc, il faudrait que je regarde ça précisément.
Enfin, il est aussi possible de demander aux autorités italiennes si elles ont fait une demande d'aide auprès de l'Union européenne. Je ne vois plus de questions pour Adalbert, donc nous revenons à la question précédente. C'était Carlo. Voilà, Carlo Martuccelli.
Yes, hello. My question is relating to the recent announcement that the UK government announced a tender for drugs in preparation for a second wave of coronavirus infections. I was just wondering if the Commission was preparing anything similar. Thank you.
I'm not quite sure what you are referring to, but Stéphane, you have information? No, I didn't understand. Could you repeat your question, please, and provide us with a bit more detail, please?
Yes, sorry. So the UK government recently announced a tender worth £96 million to build up a stockpile of drugs in preparation for a second wave. I wanted to know if there was any kind of a parallel initiative at the EU level that was being prepared.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this question. On the specific statement you referred to, I don't think I can add anything. With regard to the way the European Union is preparing itself to deal with this new resurgence of the virus, I invite you to take a look at the communication of the 15th of July about short-term health preparedness in the context of a resurgence or new outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. This is a communication that explains quite in detail the different actions and steps that the Commission strongly recommends the Member States to take and how we can coordinate our approach to better stand up against this virus. So communication of the 15th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Stéphane on health-related issues or other issues that he's dealing with in the context of coronavirus? Jacopo. Go ahead. Press speak, please, if you want the floor. Hello? Hello? Okay, that does not seem to be working, so we move to Mose.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, I would like to come back to a question which was dealt with last week. That's about press freedom and media pluralism in Hungary. I think I sent some questions to the Commission, and I just got replies by email, so I haven't really read them through. But my question concerns specifically, that new media foundation, which was established already 2 years ago in Hungary, and now it seems to be, let's say, approved by authorities or even by the Supreme Court. And that includes perhaps up to 500 media outlets in the country. And we heard last week that the Commission thought that this somehow falls outside the merger regulation, but not apparently competition regulation. It's not clear to me, because it seems to me that the Commission itself has ordered the last year report from the Center for Media Pluralism and Press Freedom at Florence, looking at this merger, which is called merger, and the finding conclusion were quite, let's say, worrisome. And the same with another report which was published last week, also financed by the Commission, by European Federation of Journalists. So my question is, on what grounds did the Commission determine that it falls outside the merger regulation, merger law, and if it does, what about competition law? Because it seems that the issue has been exhausted in Hungary, and the question is whether the Commission can and will, let's say, initiate its own investigation of that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mose. I pass the floor to Arianna, but I would like to point out that if you've asked those questions in writing and we've sent you answers in writing, it would be good if you read them before asking us the same question on the podium. But nevertheless, I pass the floor to Arianna.
Hi, Eric. I hope you can hear me and eventually see me. Eric?
Yes, go ahead, Arianna.
Hello? Hi. So indeed, Mose, we have replied to your questions in writing. So I hope you can give a look at our replies. Let me maybe clarify also from the press room that it's two separate issues. So indeed, last summer, the Center for Media Pluralism and Media Freedom published an update on media pluralism in Hungary. The report was requested by the Commission and confirms that the creation of KESMA presents a risk to media freedom in Hungary. This was also confirmed by the latest Media Pluralism Monitor published on 23rd July. And the Commission is fully aware of the concerns and continues to monitor the risks to media freedom in the EU in a comprehensive and in a timely manner. On the merger aspect of your question, I confirm that on the basis of the available information, the creation of KESMA itself did not fall under the Commission's competence that it has under the EU merger regulation. There are a series of criteria, of thresholds that are used to determine whether a merger needs to be assessed at EU level, and this appeared not to be the case. Nevertheless, as I have said already last week, KESMA's market behavior is and remains subject to national and EU antitrust law. However, the Commission has no indication that KESMA has engaged in abusive conduct within the meaning of Article 102 of the treaty.
Thank you, Arianna.
Eric, it's okay with a follow-up question? Well, I did very quickly read the email. I just received it at the time of the start of the press conference. But it seemed to me that more or less repeated Arianna's replies last week, as she did now again. The question is, because in that report from Italy last year, I mean, I don't think it entered into these legal issues. So it's not still clear to me why it falls outside the merger law. And another, let's say, worrying aspect of the whole issue is that this, let's say, conglomerate or foundation of 500 media outlets, obviously we enjoy quite a lot of pro-government advertisement, which is another aspect of the problem, because that could be considered as illegal state aid. Okay, so my question is, I mean, the last point is, when the Commission itself has financed and, let's say, commissioned reports on the media freedom and the state of media freedom in Hungary, then it's a bit, surprising that it doesn't decide to act on those reports. That is my last question. Thank you.
But Mose, I'm going to pass the floor again to Arianna, but the fact that we finance a report doesn't imply that we have necessarily the prerogatives or the powers to deal with a specific tool, in this instance, the merger regulation, on some of the issues which are raised in the report. Those are two completely distinct issues. A report may raise concerns as to the situation on a particular aspect. It's a completely different matter to see whether the Commission has within its powers and prerogatives the means to act to address the concerns raised in the report. But I pass the floor back to Arianna in case she has anything to add on this.
Indeed, just maybe a couple of words. Media freedom and pluralism raise many important issues that go beyond the remit of EU competition law specifically. The Commission fully supports freedom and pluralism within the scope of its competences through various initiatives, and perhaps Adalbert can give an idea of the more detailed initiatives we can refer to, even if this has already been mentioned last week in the press room. So I am not sure whether we want to repeat today. Competition law has a specific role in the Treaty of the European Union, and it has limits as a tool. It cannot go beyond what are the competences it has been granted.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ariana. I now move to James.
Hello, Eric. It's good to see you. I've just got a quick question to do with Brexit, predictably. There have been calls by well-known British politicians, Tory politicians, to renegotiate the withdrawal agreement. The particular objection this time seems to be that the UK is on the hook for £160 billion in liability for European Investment Bank investments. Is it, and what are the prospects of this capital being called in, please?
Thank you, James. Well, I think it's very clear that we're not going to get into a debate with British politicians on liabilities or on any other of the provisions of the withdrawal agreement. The withdrawal agreement is there. It is now a firm document that has been accepted by both parties, and it is the basis on which both sides are acting. In this document, it is clear that the United Kingdom has taken a certain number of completely normal legal commitments when it comes to its share of liabilities related to loans that would have been given by the EIB whilst the UK was still a member of the European Union. But we're definitely not going to get into a debate as to the amounts or the exact conditions under which such liabilities might be called in. This is a question of a technical nature that could be asked eventually to the EIB if you consider fit. But here, what we can say is that the withdrawal agreement stands, that in it the United Kingdom has taken a certain number of perfectly reasonable commitments related to the time when it was still a member of the European Union, relating to its share of liabilities on loans given out by the EIB, and we have nothing further to comment on this. Thank you. I do not see any other question for us today, so we will see you again on Friday for the second midday briefing of the week. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.